Let's play some APBA golf. Hi, I'm Scott Moeller, and today I'm feeling a little adventuresome. So I'm going to try to do two things that are a little bit risky to do when making a recording. One is I'm going to use a beta version of the Game Caddie, and so I'm using Game Caddie version 6.5.1 in its pre-release form, and it's not vastly different than the previous version 6.5, but it does have a couple of different features, and if we use them today, I'll point them out. If not, we're just going to be playing with the most recent version of the Game Caddie that I've got. And the other adventuresome thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to play what's called the APBA Resort course. And I'm not quite sure what this course is. It looks to be a compilation of various holes from other courses. Not totally sure about that. I went on the forum to see if there was any additional information I could find out, and there was not as of this recording. But it also, there might be some fantasy holes in here that are just totally made up, or maybe the whole 18 hole round is that, but I don't think so, because some of these holes look somewhat familiar to me, but I didn't do any real homework on this to nail that down. But let me say this: I'm using an unproofed Game Caddie version of APBA Resort. It's one that I created, but I've yet to find someone who can check my work. So hopefully all the pin locations are correct and dogleg information is correct. But if not, that's on me. This course appears to have just about every terrain feature known to APBA Golf, and maybe a couple that are brand new. I don't have every course, but there were some things in here that were handled differently for me, or new altogether. And if we run into those, I'll show you how I play them, at least first time around. Maybe I'll change my mind about some of that stuff. But let me go ahead and disappear here so we can take a better look at the Game Caddie itself. So I'll go ahead and enlarge the screen that I'm sharing. And the first thing that you'll notice when you open Game Caddie 6.5.1 is you get this new display setup message, and it gives you some instructions. If you'll recall, if you've played earlier versions of the Game Caddie, you don't see this at all. What you do see are two message boxes that pop up that ask you to click yes or no, and those are to help you configure your screen the way that you want it. But for experienced game players who use the Game Caddie a lot, it gets to be kind of annoying to have to go through that routine every time. So I play in full screen mode. Most of the people that I know that use the Game Caddie also play in full screen mode. So that essentially is what the default is. But if you don't play that way, these instructions tell you how to configure the display the way that you want it. And basically what it's saying is, press the escape key to return to what's called normal mode, and put it the way that you want it. But if you change your mind, you can always come back to full screen mode by using the hotkey combination of Control and the W key that's there. And when you do that, that also refreshes the screen. So if you would happen to get some graphic stuff on your screen that doesn't look right, or you get some stuff that has to do with how your graphics card works, if you do the Control W, that will refresh your screen, and 99 times out of 100, that will fix the problem without having to do anything else. But hopefully we won't even run into that problem, but I'm just letting you know that that's a possibility. After you've seen this message a few times, you may, instead of closing it, may we just want to get rid of it altogether, and that way it will not appear. Obviously, to get this to come back again, what you've got to do is actually reset the Game Caddie, which you can do over here on the score card. And if you click on the clear Game Caddie button, at least that's the way it works in the beta version right now. I don't think it'll change for the release version, but it might. But you can get this message back by doing this. This sets everything back to factory default, if you will. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to click on this to not show it again, make it go away. You can see we're in full screen mode. I've done a couple of things to get us started here. First, the thing that I've done is I have selected a pin number, and I did that just by rolling the dice. So let me show you hole number 1 at APBA Resort. First hole happens to be a par 5. There are a bazillion course notes and terrain notes for this course, which was a little bit of a challenge getting all that to fit in the Game Caddie version of it, but it all did fit. With one exception, I did not fool around with the ratios for the dog legs. That seems to be a new thing that APBA's doing for its courses now, telling you how to count out the ratio. And the Game Caddie is not built to handle things like 22-1 or 5-1 or 11-1. It uses the standard ratios that are part of the 2014 rule set and can be found in the manual that comes with that version of the game, which is the current version of the game. The other thing is you'll see down here some course data. It says that this is a par 70, and of course we're going to keep it at a par 70. And the distance is 7,270 yards, but that of course changes based on your pin location. So once we load a hole, we'll be able to see what the actual pin, what the actual course distance is in yards that we're playing today. I suspect it might be more than 7,270, but I haven't checked that out yet. Okay. And I'm going to be using Calvin Peete, his all-time great card, 1982. And in part, I did that in hopes that I could stay on the fairways more than some of this other terrain that we're going to run into on different holes. All righty, let's come back to the Game Caddie itself and come over to the Conditions tab. As I mentioned, I've already selected the pin number here, but I haven't done anything about the day wind or the course conditions. This course does not have prevailing winds, thank goodness, because there's so much else going on here. So we don't have to worry about different wind types. We'll be using the standard wind settings. So let me come over to the configuration settings button, click on that. And we want to play in master game mode. So I'll click that. We're going to leave this line types as master game. Playing with PGA cards, so we'll leave that at original. Standard is the default, so nothing to change there. I'm just going to keep the original dog leg procedure. This particular course does have type A dog legs on it, and I can quickly show you what that means while we're at it. Let me move Calvin's card away because this first hole has 2 dog legs. So let me finish this out. I'm going to click this dog leg roll distance adjuster. We're going to select type A. In a second, I'll show you why I selected that type. And then I'm just going to leave everything else here the same as the default. We'll apply those settings. Let me come over to the course again. All right. So that you can have 2 types of different dog legs. One is way more common than the other. In fact, I haven't seen type B dog legs since some of the earliest APBA courses. But here's what a type A looks like. Here's a dog leg here. Here's another one here. You'll notice that in both cases that the way that the dog leg is drawn is with the full squares on the tee side as opposed to the green side, right? So on the green side, you've got fractional squares that are here. And on the tee side, you have full squares. It's the same for both of these dog legs. On the tee side, you've got full squares here. On the green side, you've got fractional squares. If it was the other way around, and there's a couple of courses, I think Magnolia is one of them, where actually these are the fractional squares, and on the green side you have the whole squares. Those would be type B. And again, the purpose of the type A and the type B is to more closely match the manual counting out of these squares as if you were playing without the Game Caddie. If you don't click either of those, you're fine. And what Excel is going to do is just count these out mathematically without regard to how these squares happen to be drawn. It's not perfect, this algorithm, but it's on most courses, it seems to work reasonably well. Where it will work less well, and we ran into this with the live stream match the other night, is the farther you get away from the center line, the more extra grid lines you can have, or the more grid lines you can lose in the bend of the dog leg. So the farther away that you are from the center line, the less accurate this algorithm is likely to be. All righty. Now it doesn't mean it's totally imperfect, but it's impossible to come up with something that works for every situation. All right, so let's come back to the Game Caddie. All right, I've got Calvin Peete loaded here on Caddie 4, and I'll just show you that real quick. His ratings: average W7, average I6, momentum 0, bounce back 2, sand 0, shot making C to the left, B to the right, 0 clutch, not going to be using that, and a scramble adjustment of 2. Before rolling for the wind, I have selected 3 clubs for him. Because he's an average W of 7, I've decided to go with a little bit more length here. Don't know whether I'll need it. Never played this course before. We'll just see how it goes. But tentatively, I've selected a 3 wood, 5 wood, and 2 iron. If I end up getting calm wind, I may change this 5 wood to a hybrid. But can't do that with, I mean, I can, but it would not be wise to do that on a day other than a calm day, in my humble opinion. All right, so we'll come back here to the conditions tab, and let's go ahead and roll for the day wind. This is an H rated course, is that right? I don't remember. It's either G or H. Well, let's just see what our wind roll is. I entered this. It's saying H here. What I don't know is whether that's a holdover from another course I added, because this hasn't been built into the Caddie yet. But let's assume it's an H. It might be a G. All right. So the roll is a 35, and for an H, a 35 is moderate wind, and it would be a moderate wind for a G rated course too. So sorry for the little confusion there. When APBA Resort finally gets put into the released version, this rating will absolutely be correct. But we're going to have moderate winds, so we're not going to go with the hybrid. And then our course conditions, let's see, well, we got a 7 here, and that's going to be normal course conditions. So we won't need to fool around any with these things right here. All right, I think we're ready to go. All I need to do is load the first hole. Let's come over to APBA Resort. Some of the things I've put into special features. Normally what goes into these special features boxes are things that are apply throughout the entire course and aren't particular to one hole. Because this course has so many different notes, I wasn't able to follow that guideline exactly. So sometimes in the whole notes up here will be referred to special features because I needed extra area to be able to explain what that note is really saying. But you can see from the special features that we're going to have the possibility of dealing with waste areas. We've got bushes here. We've got rocks. We've also got cliffs. We've got water and some of the other, more usual types of terrain that you've seen on other courses. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and hopefully we won't run into every single thing that's possible. So I'm going to transfer hole number 1 here. And Thankfully we have no wind for the first hole. I do want to come back to the course before I forget. Oops, it went to Caddy 1 because I had put that in there for some testing purposes. So let me just go ahead and reset that. Come back here to APBA Resort. And you can see now that I've loaded hole 1, it's going to give us the distance. As it turns out, the distance is exactly 7280, which is just 10 yards longer than what is written on the course board down here. So we're just playing 10 yards longer overall for pin location number 4. All right, so we've got hole number 1 actually already loaded, and I'm just going to, instead of reloading the hole, which I could do, I'm just going to come down here and click on player 4, and that'll force player 4 to be up. And this is one of the special circumstances in which you can do that and it doesn't create any problems. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open the all-in-one menu. And so add, we have a normal dog leg left at 325 and then another normal dog leg left at 470. Pete's not going to drive that even with this additional 15 yards carry to all tee shots and then 10 yards roll if the shot lands in the fairway. So we'll put the 15 over here in the carry box. The 10 roll I'm going to hold off on because that's conditional with the shot landing in the fairway. And then this is all WI shots that land on the green or short of the red line. Okay, that'll apply for maybe our second or third shot. So we'll read those when the time comes. All right, so here's what we're looking at here. We don't want to end up short. We're going to get 15 yards on this. So as long as we are able to clear, say, the 270 or 260 mark, 270, we won't need to aim right at all, but let's see what we run into here. So 250 plus 15 is 265. So maybe I need to aim right a little bit to avoid that bunker. I'll use a driver. I'm gonna aim, I think I'm gonna aim right 10. And that won't affect our distance. And we'll hit the driver. 31 is a 6 on Calvin's card. So that's going to go right. So this goes 270, right 25, with 25 roll. And add 10 yards if the shot lands in the fairway, and I believe it is. So that's going to be 35 roll. All right, so let's do it this way. 270, right 25. 10, 25, that's fairway. And then we're going to get 35 roll. 10, 20, 35, right there. All righty, good shot. And I'll just put 35 in here. And 305, right 25, and that's where we had the ball marked. Okay, now we've got, let's see, our carry objective is 265. And that's to the back of the green. So 265 to that spot right there. And he can hit it 235. So that'd be 10, 20, 30. So that would be 235 right there in the front of the green, but not on the green. Perhaps it's pretty close. Let's see what it says here. All WI shots that land on the green short of the red line and on or left of the center line roll 30 yards backwards and stop. Oh, goodness. All right, so we don't want that to happen. All WI shots that land on the green short of red line and right of the center line, roll into nearest trap and stop. So if we overhit this 3-wood, it's hard to imagine a shot that would actually on the fly, particularly with a 3-wood, that would not roll forward at all. But that's what the note says. So I think what I'm probably just going to do is I'm just going to lay up here with a 5-wood. So let's select the 5-wood. 21 is an 8. And we probably, well, we would have might have been in the bunker there with that if we'd gone with the 3-wood. So 5, 10, right 10, and that's going to hit fairway, and then we're going to roll 10. So it's going to end up at 5, 20, right 10, which is on the fairway, perhaps intermediate rough, but it doesn't matter because we're going to be so close. So we'll just call that fairway. So 5, 20, right 10 is on the fairway. So it hit here and rolled 10 to that spot right there. Now, we're going to be short-sighted, but that hardly seems to matter. All right. Since we're pretty close to the center line here. Now, the question is, do I want to target here? We could say that that's on the green. That's clearly not. And I don't think this is either. It's a little fuzzy on the screen here, but looking at the course with the naked eye, that looks like it's off. So I think what I do, instead of targeting that spot there, I'm going to target that location there. So we'll come back 5 from the default. So instead of 565, we'll target 560. And these it just applies to WI shots. So our call distance is 40 yards. We'll pick that. 35 is a 5 in the A column. So 555, well, that worked against us. Okay, so where the shot ended up was, that's 565. So it ended up here. So we're a diagonal and a straight away. All right, one straight, one diagonal. I want to double check that and make sure I look at that correctly. Yeah. All right, and we'll do calc 32. So we got a 32-foot putt here for a par. There's very few putting notes on this course. There are a couple, but not a great deal. So the default from that distance is to play safe. So that's what we'll do. Oh, one other thing you'll notice now in 6.5.1, once it comes out, is that the hole notes now appear also on the clubs tab when you come over here to putt. And why is that? Well, because oftentimes courses have putting notes, and if you're playing with more than one player or you're distracted or whatever, you can forget what those putting notes are telling you to do. So now all of the hole notes are dragged over for you, so you don't have to be clicking back and forth between the caddy tabs and the club tabs. Unfortunately, putting notes can appear in any bullets, so it's hard to know, which ones it's going to be. So it just drags all of them over. And in this case, they're all dragged over, but we're not going to use any of them. So let's go ahead and putt from 32 feet, a 21 again. And in the P column, that's a 26, not great. That leaves us with a 3-foot putt, and a 31 is going to be a 22. Of course, that you go for it from that distance, and he makes it for a par. I apologize if there's a little bit of outside noise as I'm recording this. Can't predict when, I'm going to have people in my neighborhood doing yard work, and it turns out that somebody is at this point. Maybe the microphone's not picking that up on your end, I hope, but it is on mine. Okay, so let's come over here and load hole number 2. Okay, no wind again. And we got normal dog legs right at 315, and then one that's left at 510. And we're going to add 15 carry to all tee shots and add 15 carry to all second shots. All right, so we'll just go ahead and put the 15 in for the tee shot right now. Let's call this up and take a look at the hole. So here's our pin placement, another par 5 right by this water here. I don't want anything to do with that. And then we've got some trees here on this hole. It's pretty obvious what those are. We do have this dog leg. Don't want to get blocked over here. And that's a potential problem. This dog leg, I could envision where you could be blocked if you had a shot that was down here, and then you're going to be blocked to the front of the green, and you might have to instead lay up in this spot right here. So we want to hit left if we can, but man, we don't want to be in these trees. So this is a little bit tricky. Thank goodness it's a par 5. So let's just see what the best way to play this is. He's not going to hit through this dog leg, I don't think, even with any wind bonus here. So I'm just going to hit right down the middle and cross my fingers. A 15 is a 6. That's going to go to the right. I would have preferred to the left, but let's go ahead and take that. So this goes 270, right 15, and that hits in the fairway with 25 roll. All right, so that's going to put us at 295, right 15. In the fairway, but arguably, I don't know, we may be blocked to the front of the green there. I'll check that out after I record the shot. And if we are blocked, I could have checked block there on the record lives menu, but that only sends a warning. It doesn't do much other than, well, it actually does. I'm sorry. It would leave the dog leg on. So let me come over here and check this out and see what we got here. So our ball location is right there, and the front is right there. And we do pass through. That's not a full tree square, but let me put some light on this. Yeah, arguably this is a full tree square, so we are blocked. I don't like that. It doesn't seem quite realistic to me that you would be blocked having a shot that is essentially in the fairway. But it is, and I could ignore the dog leg tool if I wanted. But what I will do is hitting around trees with water up here. Let's before we jump to any conclusions here, let's just see what our distance is going to be like here. So I'm going to have a distance adjustment. It's only going to amount to 5 yards if I do. But at 295, there's no way he's going to reach the screen in 2 anyway. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lay up, and given where I am, I can lay up without being blocked to this spot right here. Okay. I'm not going through. Let's see here. Wow. Yeah. So I'm not going through a full tree square on that path. So I could lay up to there, and realistically, I'll probably lay up to somewhere like that so that I'm not tempting water. All right. So let's play it that way. These are the kinds of things that really slow the game down, in my opinion. Okay, let's come back here to the Game Caddie. I'm going to put 425 in as our distance. So that would be a shot of 135 yards and not be blocked. So 135 yards. And we're going to add 15 carry to this shot. So we got to think about that. So really 120 yards max. So I could hit something like a gap wedge, and that may even back up some. Or I could go with a sand wedge. Let's go with a gap wedge here, not blocked. And take the shot. So a 24 in the I column is a 6. And that's his average I. We'll go ahead and reduce that. So this goes to 420 on the center line, and then it doesn't do anything. There's no fairway roll at all. So that's, really where we wanted to be, right there. And now we have a good angle because we're on the center line, although there's no way in the world I'm playing over there by that water here. Okay, so update that. Fairway. And we don't, it doesn't say all second and subsequent shots, it just says second shots. So now we have no further distance adjustments. 155. Do not want to be short for sure. So a 7-iron. We have no wind. So I'm just going to do a 7-iron and hope I don't go 15 right or come up short on this. So let's just do a 7-iron. 15. It shouldn't be short. It's going to go left as well. So that's a 5. So we're going to be at 580 left 5. So 50, 60, 70, 80 left 5. And I don't believe there was any roll. So we're a diagonal and a straightaway. Yeah, no green roll. So nice safe play there. And we're going to be 29 feet away for a birdie putt. Play this safe. 41 is a 19 in the P column. Missed it by 2. 33 is an 8, and that'll be good. All right. So a couple of pars there after the first 2 holes. And now that we got the hang of this course, let's see if we can pick up the pace at all. Don't know whether that will happen. Hole number 3. Okay, normal dogleg right at 250, add 10 yards, roll to tee shots, landing in fairway. Add 10 yards carry to all WI shots except tee shots, and then see special features for waste areas and bushes. All right, so let's take a look at the hole. So this is the waste area here. That's the waste area there. And the bushes, I believe, are these up here. I think this here are the trees. That might be bushes as well. That would be my guess. And this, of course, is just rough, and that's fairway. Here's our pin location there. Here's that dog leg again. So we want our tee shot to end up somewhere in this vicinity. If it's on the right, that's great. It would give us a good angle, although don't have much green to play with over there. So 250 near the center line would be absolutely fine. And so if it lands in the fairway, we'll get 10 extra roll. No wind again, thankfully. All right. So driver would go, let's see, 235. That'll probably, I forget what roll that gives, but it would be another. So that's going to probably go about 260. 3 wood, excuse me, 5 would be 215. 225. That's going to be maybe a little bit on the short side. All right, we'll go with the 3 wood on this, and I'll just play it down the middle. 51 is a 6. That's going to go right. We may go through this dog leg, but that's okay. That won't hurt us, I don't think. Too bad. May end up short-sided, but that's all right. So 240 right 10. That's going to hit in the fairway. So we'll add 10 to that. So that's going to be 30 roll. So 275 right on the center line. Okay, so we end up with a good angle after all said and done. Oops, wrong button. I want this one. All right, so we hit here at 240, right 10, and it rolls to that spot right there. I think, was it 270 or 275? It was 275. Okay, so we got the ball marker in the right spot, and we're in the fairway. Add 10 yards carry to all WI shots after the tee shot. Okay. So that's going to be factored, that 10-yard carry is going to be factored into this carry objective. That's 110. So a gap wedge of 115, because that'll probably roll back 5. That should do it. Do I want to aim left 5? No, because I want to make sure I'm on the green if I can. Play a little bit conservatively at this point. So we'll just do a gap wedge. 61. That might be short. That's going to be a 6. That is not short. It would be short for a wood shot, but not for an eye. So a 6, that'll be our average eye. We'll go ahead and reduce that by 5 because we wanted to go left. So we're at 400 and back up 5. 400 is going to be on the green. So we're going to end up one straight away at 395. So that's 400, back up 5, and one straight. All right, and we could have put it on the pin if we'd played a little more aggressively there, but that's fine. One straight. And 8 feet. Let's come over here to the putting green. Go for it. 15. We're getting a lot of 15s. I'm not going to complain about that. And that's in. All right, so we logged our first birdie of the day, and we're 1 under after 3 holes. Let's move on to hole number 4. This one's got some water. All right, well, we don't have any momentums, so birdies don't really help us in that department. And the hole may be played at 210 yards, okay, or from 175 yards. So there are a couple of dots here. There's an orange dot, and I think this is the purple dot right here. And you could play from this distance instead, but we're going to play back here from the original distance. And so this hole is going to be probably a little bit difficult for us to keep the ball on the green, especially with that forward pin placement. It's going to be hard to get near the hole. So the let's see, tee shots landing in cliff rocks area stop immediately are in a lateral hazard. All right, so that's the dark brown here. So basically, that's like hitting into the water if we were to land in that spot. All right, so 255. The driver gets us there. Wow. So here's the decision point, right? So 250 would land here, but we'll probably roll to here. 235 might just barely clear, but would roll to there. So I'm going to go with the driver. And now the question is, do I want to try to work the ball to the right to avoid the cliff over here? Because if I go to the left, I could end up in a lot of trouble. Whereas if I'm over here, I'm not, at least I'm not taking a penalty stroke over here. And working the ball to the right, he has a B rating. It's a par 3, so I can't aim. That's why I'm talking about working the ball. So I am going to work the ball to the right. Oh, boy. I'm going to play this fairly conservatively. I'm going to work the ball to the right 15 yards. I'm going to go with the driver. And if I'm not on the green, so be it. I just don't want to get a penalty stroke if I can avoid it. And no wind. Here's the roll. Wow. So clobbered it from a distance standpoint. That's a 5. And then the work the ball is a 15 again. That's a 6. So, clearly I didn't need to do all that, but let's just see what happens to the shot here. So it only ends up going right 5 because of the work the ball goes to the right, shot went to the left, and all that business. So 260, right 5. So it hits just past the pin on the green, but we're going to get 25 rolls. So we're going to roll off here. So it hits here and then 25 roll, 10, 25. So we're going to be in the fairway. That's fine. I can live with that. All right. So let's come back here. Well, I guess I could put the ball marker there. So there, 10, 25, right there. There we go. All right. Adjusted roll is 25. So 285, right 5, fairway. And we're going to be short-sided. And the center line is misnamed because it's not really in the center. So it's default target is here, but then I could end up in the bunker there. If I go back here, at least I'm in the rough. I can't aim over here because I'm short-sided. Let's target this location right here, and we're going to hit from the north. So it's hitting from the north. We're going to target 260. Call distance 25 yards. 41, and that's a 7. So 255, I'm going to be 1 straight away. So that shot ended up right there, one straight off. All right. I can take that. Oh, all right. I'm going to do Control W here because I clicked around a little bit and it took me out of full screen mode. 1 straight, calc, 9 feet for par. Take the shot. Oh, I got my first really bad number, 34 to the 29. He's going to miss that putt. And from 3 feet there, well, that's the roll I needed. That's a 10. And all right, so we're back to par. But we avoided the penalty stroke. I do have some bounce backs. All right, so one thing about APBA Resort is that there's a lot of color on this. They didn't spare any ink colors for this course, as you'll see here in a moment. Let me load hole number 5. All right, so let me show you the hole. Okay, so it shows up rather pale on the screen here, I think, but and for me, these colors are a little bit mismatched. I mean, this color here matches what is normal bunker. I mean, it clearly does, either on the screen and on the actual course board itself. But this looks to me to be a normal bunker. So I'm thinking this is actually supposed to be waist area, but typically waist area has like little speckles in it that makes it easier to identify. So the way I'm going to play this, again, I don't know if I'm doing it the way that was intended or not. I'm going to play this as waist area. I'm going to play these as normal bunkers. And there's no deep bunkers on this particular hole. These are trees down here. Doesn't look like we have any bushes. They don't appear in the legend for this hole. But deep rough doesn't appear up here anywhere either. So I don't know. I don't know if the coloring's off and this is meant to be normal bunker and these are meant to be deep bunkers, but so be it. This is waist area. This is a normal bunker, as is this up here. The way I'm gonna play this. And again, we've got a double dog legs here at 250. It's a normal dog leg and then a severe dog leg up here at 300. And then we've got this elongated green with, nothing to the right of the center line in terms of pin locations. And we've got pin 4 here that's looks to be about 380 yards, 60, 70, 380 yards from the tee box. All right, that's what we've got here. No wind again. Huh. This is kind of interesting. Well, we're not getting any wind. I just wanted to make sure that I had moderate up there. I do. And our dice roll is 32, which would be no wind for moderate. Let's see, wouldn't it? Yeah. See, yeah, anything 36 or lower is no wind. Yeah. For moderate. Okay, back here. Add 10 yards carried all WI shots. So that would include the tee shot. And then special features for waste areas. So clearly waste areas are meant to be on this hole if there's a course note referring to them. And what's the consequence of being in a waste area? Consequence. Shots landing or rolling into waste area, cut any roll in half. Roll one die to determine the column for the next shot. A 1 or 2 is the rough column. A 3 or 6 is the sand column. And that does not affect the lie roll, but it does affect the shot column that's there. Okay, that's similar to other courses with waste areas. All right, what do I want to do here? Do I want to use my bounce back? I got the original dog leg setting. He's going to go through the inside of the dog leg if I take it. I think I will take the bounce back here. 7 is going to go 250 plus 10 is 260. That's going to carry through the dog leg. And I'm going to get 25 roll, probably. Unfortunately, that's going to push me. That's going to take me too far with my driver. I would have to hit something like a 3-wood to ensure that I'd stay in the fairway, I think. Yeah, so let's do it. But I'm going to use a 3-wood. And we'll do the 7. Take the shot. I'm going to do no change here. So that's going to go 245, left 10. That's fairway. 20 roll. So 270, left 5, which is perfect. All right. So it hit here, somewhere here. I forget what, 240, 245. But it ends up at, I've forgotten that part, 270, left 5. Okay. So we end up right here, rolling through that dog leg. All right. And because this is on the center line, we have a good angle. Not that you have much room to aim anyway. All right, so let's update that. Fairway. Okay, the second dog leg doesn't come into play because we're not blocked by trees. So it's 110 on the center line. Let's hit a gap wedge. And hope we don't end up in the waste area. To all WI shots. Okay, so wait a minute. Let me rethink this. Add 10 yards, so 100. I'm going to hit a sand wedge. 34. Okay, 18. So 385, left 15. I'm definitely in a waste area. And I think, what did we say? We said cut any roll in half. Okay. 385, left 15, 5 roll. It doesn't say whether you round up or round down. I typically round up unless otherwise instructed. All right, so let's say it does roll 5 yards. So 385, left 15 with 5 roll. So that would go to that spot right there. All righty. We'll put the 5 roll in there. And I can do this once I click the update arrow. Okay, so I'm gonna roll the dice here to determine what my lie is. I got a 6. That's, I think it was 3 to 6 is sand column. So we'll close that and come over here and select sand column. All right. And so shots taken from sand column. We'll get rid of that. We're 15 to the pin. 61 is a 6. So we're going to be 4 feet away for a par putt. 51 is a 23. And that's in. Okay. Save par on that. Moving on. Hole number 6. Gentle dog leg right at 290. All right, add 30 yards carry to all tee shots. Add 20 yards roll if shot lands in fairway. Wow. Okay. All right. No wind again. Check that conditions tab again. 36. Yeah, 1 to 36 is no wind. All right. Trust the Game Caddie, Scott. It's just weird not to get wind in 6 straight holes with moderate wind. About half the time you'll get wind. All right. So let's take a look at the hole here. So we could get as much as 50 yards of extra distance, which, could put us in the bunker here if, the shot went here, but with the extra 50 yards. So we want to go left if we can. Obviously, we want to avoid the trees. If we can avoid those, our pin locations over here, looks like we got a deep bunker to deal with and regular bunkers here. This looks to be deep rough on that side there. All right, so maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna aim. I'm gonna aim 10 left. Hopefully the shot doesn't go way left. We get the automatic 30 carry. All right, let's see what we get here. 15 again. Wow, this is weird. This dice roller is, I think, sticky. These same numbers coming up, and this is a 6, so that's going to be a great. It's going to put us near the center line here. So 285 right 5. That's fairway, and so we're gonna get 20 additional roll. So I mean, I could put the 20 roll here, but I just can do that in my head too. So that's going to be 45 roll altogether. So this is going to roll to 330 right 5, which is going to be in the fairway. So shot hits here and rolls right up here to 330 right 5. So that 10 left aim worked out pretty well for us. And now we've got a good angle there for our next shot. And we're going to add 10 yards. All right, so we'll update this, add 10 yards, carry. So that's going to make our carry objective 155. Going to aim left 5. And just hit a regular old 7-iron. 66. 5. It's going to be a little bit long here, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about the deep bunker. So 500 left 10, and you can see the pins at 495 left 10. It hits on the green. There's no roll, so I'm going to be 1 straight away. It's going to hit right there and just stick. 1 straight. 4 feet, excellent. Maybe we'll get another birdie here. 33, yep, that'll do it. 8, that's in. All right, nice. Sweet. Hole number 6 is done. Let's move on to hole number 7. Severe dog leg right at 320. Hey, we get some wind. 5 yards left. Not that I want wind. I just want to make sure everything's working correctly. All right, 5 left. Again, I've got the birdie is wasted because I've got no momentum. All right, let's take a look at the hole. This dog leg is out of my range since there's no real hole notes here to add any distance. So that's going to go 5 left, which is kind of what I'd want to do anyway. I may just leave well enough alone. Just get it right down the middle here. Try to get some distance. Hopefully I'll be on the left. Well, again, this is so close to the edge of the green. I don't know if I'll even aim or not. But let's hit a driver. 23 is an 8. You can see why I chose Calvin Peete. He hits the ball pretty straight, if not long. So this is going to go 245, right 5. And that's in the fairway with 25 roll. So that's 270, right 5, and that'll be in the fairway. We'll go ahead and mark that. 270, right 5 is right about there. All right. And again, short-sighted, but that's fine. All right. Update here. So 195 is the carry objective. So 4 irons really our only club. 2 iron will go past and roll way past. So let's do a 4 iron. 61. Now it's going to be a little bit short. Yeah, 9. It's going to go left, which will give a good angle for our next shot, though. So 440 left 10, which is fine. That hits in the fairway with 10 roll. I'm not going to make it to the green. It's going to end up short. I'm going to be at 450 left 10 in the fairway. And that's where that shot is right there. We're updated. We're 20 to the pin. Select 20. 22 is a 5. That's going to put us 5 feet away. And hopefully I can make a 5-foot putt here. 45 is a 17. That'll be in. Okay, a par. Nice. Moving on. Hole number 8. General dogleg left at 255. No aiming. Oh, this is where you have a blind tee shot. No aiming, but may work the ball. Deduct 10 yards carry for all tee shots. All right, so let me do that. And we've got a tailwind on this one, it looks like. All right, so now the wind's starting to pick up here. All tee shots landing or rolling in fairway on or past red line. I'll show you where that is. Add 10 yards roll. So that's here. This is a red line. It looks green on the screen here, but that's actually red in reality. So we're likely to get, if we hit in the fairway, we're likely to get 10 more roll. This is a gentle dog leg here, so that's not going to factor too much into whether the ball rolls this way or not. And then we've got up here, we've got rocks and we've got water here. We don't want to hit long on our second shot. Now, some of the guys like DeChambeau might even be able to drive this green in one, but Pete's not one of those guys. And we got lots of room to the right here. So trees down here, deep rough up there. We'll have to think about all that. And we've got a tailwind, which will tend to straighten out the shot. Deduct 10 yards. All right. So this taketh away and this giveth, all right? Giveth back. All right, 250 a driver. All right, that's rolling under rocks, and hopefully we won't have to deal with that. All right, so we'll hit a driver. I'm going to go ahead and aim 10 right. If I had a longer hitter, I might even aim more than that to the right because there's lots of room over there on the right. But I don't want to have to deal with the distance adjustment there. So let's just see what happens here. 45 is a 7, which is his average W. I'll go ahead and take that reduction. Nothing from the tailwind. So this goes 240 right 5. That's going to clear the red line. So we're going to add 10 yards roll into this. So that's going to be 35 roll altogether. So 275 right 5. So that's going to put us right there. With a good angle. All right. We'll update that. All right. Now, the good news is we're within approach range. That may be good news. The bad news is that you can't knock down an approach shot. Didn't think about that. And then we got this other thing up here about balls rolling onto rocks, stop. Okay, that's fine. And that's if we go way over the green. Hopefully we won't do that with an approach shot. Shots landing on rocks, bounce 5 yards and stop. And if you end up in the rocks, the lie is unplayable. All first putts that cross the green line, and it actually is a green line, read results one line below PRN. Okay, so here's what that's saying. If we have to cross this green line here, okay, then our PN is reduced by 1, or I guess you add 1 to it to make it a harder putt. In other words, putting from here to here is 1 number harder. Not column, but one PRN number. Right. So let's just go for the pin here. That's the default. We'll leave it there. Hopefully we won't get some god-awful amount of tailwind. 90. 56 is a 7. And the tailwind took 5 off the right here. So we end up at 370 left 5. Remember, there's no roll with approach shots. All right, so where this ends up is right there. Okay, that's one straight line away. And here's my interpretation. And this came up with somebody I was playing with last weekend. And we both saw it the same way. So that's the way I'm going to play it. So this note says all first putts that cross the green line. Well, it's on the green line. And I guess literally speaking, it's not crossing that green line. Lines have no dimensionality to them, no width in this case. Well, I guess it's the width of a grid line, but it's not crossing over anything. It's just on that line. So I'm going to ignore this 1 line below, which is not a big deal. I mean, it would affect a few rolls, but not very many. So we'll just say 1 straight away and not make any further adjustment. So 10 feet. If I were to make an adjustment, I would make it right here. So I would add 1 to the PRN number, but I'm just going to get rid of that. And we'll take the putt. It's a 35, and that's a 12, and that would not have affected it in either case. A 13 would have been in from 10 feet as well. As you can see here, up to 18 is in. So we'll record that putt and another birdie. Okay, hole number 9. All right, what do we got? No wind. Okay, good. Shots landing or rolling onto red cross, forfeit any other roll and roll the nearest point in forwardmost adjoining trap, right? That's up here, right? So if there's a choice between, if you have to roll, here's the red crosses up here. Actually, they look red on the screen this time, but if you're kind of in a situation where it could roll this way or that way, it's going to roll into the forward most from the tee perspective adjoining trap. We want to avoid these red lines if possible. And you can see this is another elongated green where you got to be on the center line no matter what. And that's our hole for today. Deep bunkers, automatic buried line, no sand points allowed. So we got a 140. So that means a knockdown 8-iron is what we're looking at here. 55 is a 5, so it's not going to be on the center line because that's not his average eye. But it's not a terrible shot. 145, left 5, and no roll if it's on the green. But it's not on the green, and I don't think it's going to hit those red lines either. But it will get 5 fairway roll. So 145, left 5. So 10, 20, 30, 45. So it hits here, rolls to there, and it's not on a red line. So we just end up with the ball at that 6 point there, I believe. And we could putt from there, but I won't putt from there because that's too far for somebody like Pete. He's not that good a putter. So 150 left 5, fairway, 10 to pin, 63 is an 11, as it is with most players. That's going to leave him with a 6-footer. Not great. Let's see if he can make it. Oh, yes, a 2. All right, save par there. All right, so that's the first 9 holes, and we're 2 under after 9 holes. I'm actually a little bit surprised. You know, the first time I'm playing a course, especially one with as many things that can go wrong as this course, surprised that the score is what it is. I'm happy about it. You know, most of it is not me. It's Calvin Pete's card, and it's and favorable dice rolls. But I'm glad it is whatever it is. Let's move on to the back 9 then. APBA Resort, hole number 10. No wind again. And the only note here is gentle dogleg right at 300. And so we're talking about here. It looks almost like a normal dogleg, but it's listed as gentle at 3 to 1. Again, Game Caddie ignores these ratios and does its own little algorithm for gentle doglegs. It'd be nice if we're on the right side for the next shot. I don't think he's going to hit it through that dogleg since there's no other adjustments. So let's just grip it and rip it here. 52. Okay, 27. Well, hopefully it stays in the fairway somewhere. 240, left 35. I think we're going to be in deep rough here, maybe. Oh, well, we might get lucky here. So 240, left 35, 25 fairway roll. So 240, left 35, 10, 20, 30. That's regular rough. So we take that 35 roll, cut it to 20, 10, 20, and it's I got to look with my magnifying glass here. I'm going to say that's on the fairway. I mean, it would be the intermediate rough if in a worst case scenario, but I think that is right on the line. So I'm going to call it fairway. Why did I do 20 roll? Because I thought that was, hang on a second. I did the roll wrong. So it's 240, left 35. I thought I had 35 roll. I don't. I have 25 roll. So that would be 15 roll. So it's actually going to back me up 1 square. So if I put 15 in here, 255, left 35. And now I think I am going to be in intermediate rough. Yeah, I am. So that shot actually is there, not there. And that's intermediate rough. Right. So cut it in half and round up. That's how you handle shots in the regular rough. So that makes that a 15. Okay, so 255, left 35, intermediate rough. And this is a long par 4 for this guy, 240. 3 wood, might hit long. A 5 wood, 215, 10 or 15 roll. Wow. So that's 235. 215 would hit about here. Yeah, we can do a 5 wood maybe. Let's do a 5 wood. Got it in my bag, might as well use it. 13 is a 7, and that's going to be his average W, but I don't want to take it because I want to. Well, I'm going to be short-sighted perhaps, but let's just not take it. No change. 2. Oh, what happened here? I forgot that I was in. Oh, I didn't notice this. Oh, well, the reason I didn't notice is it didn't come up until to the second roll. So it pushed me 5 yards more to the left. I could not have known that in advance of the shot. That was after the shot was taken. So I'm going to go 460, left 15. And unfortunately, I'm going to miss the green. But I think I'll get it. I'll be close enough that, or I'll be within 20 yards. So 460, left 15, add 10. So I'm going to be at 470, left 15. I'm going to be right there. That's where that shot ends up. And it looks like it's on the green where I put that down, but it's actually in the fairway. There we go. Okay. Update this. Fairway. And we're 15 to the pin. All righty. So that intermediate rough made a pretty big difference there. 56 is a 7 in the A column. That's going to leave us with a 6-foot putt for par. Come over here. 14, that'll be a 14. And that's in. All right, save par. Wonderful. Move on to hole 11. Okay, so this is a par 3, but it's a pretty long one. And we have wind 5 to the right, which is the direction we want to go. Here's our hole look. Again, I think the coloring just seems to be off to me, right? And maybe I'm misinterpreting this. And maybe I am. The more I think about this, maybe I've got it wrong. Because there's no waste area on this legend, right? And this is saying that this is all a normal bunker. So I guess that's what that is. And maybe I was wrong on the other hole, although it didn't matter because I didn't end up in that area anyway. I'll just have to think more about that, and play it whatever way you want to play it. This hole does have this business here, though. This is a mound in front of the green, and nothing good happens if we end up there, either if we land there or have to hit out of there. So we'll deal with that if and when that time comes. It's a pretty big green. We're not playing anywhere close to that location, so it perhaps will not come into play this time round. Let's see. All right. So 5 right, 235. 3 wood go 235, but then it's going to roll. I'm going to hit a 5 wood. Let's just cross our fingers here. A 13 again. That's a 7. I'll take the reduction. So that's going to go 215 right on the center line with 10 green roll. So that's 175. 185, 195, 205, 215. And did I say 10 roll? That would put it right there, which would be 1, 2 diagonals, and a straight. Yeah, 10 roll. So 1 straight, 2 diagonals, 48 feet. Play it safe. 55 is a 10, 1 foot. 52 is a 21. That's in. So you got a par on that one. Okay. Hole 12. No wind. All right, lots of hole notes here. Oh boy. Yeah. All right. So this hole has cliffs, canyons, desert. Let me show you here what the hole looks like. It's a pretty hole. This is cliff and canyon area. This dark stuff here. This sort of, I would call it maybe a magenta color. Here it actually looks a lot like the Caddy 4 color. Is desert area along here. There's our pin location right there. Pretty narrow fairway. So basically you're hitting between canyons, or canyon walls, I should say. You need a straight hitter for this hole. Okay, and we got all kinds of stuff here. So shots landing or rolling into desert area, stop immediately. Next shot is from sand column, but no sand lie roll. All right, the Game Caddie can handle that. Shots landing or rolling in cliff canyon area left of the fairway. It's an unplayable lie. So that would mean that we take a penalty stroke, but hit from adjacent to that area. And then shots landing in cliff canyon area right of the fairway, bounce left. The number of squares equal to the white die and stop. Okay, we could do that. Hopefully we won't have to. And shots landing in cliff canyon area right of the fairway, bounce left 1 square and stop. All right, so all kinds of weird things here. It's like pinball if you hit the canyons. All right, so let's hit a straight shot. This, you know what? I'm gonna hit a 2-iron off the tee here because we could take advantage of the optional master game rule for iron shots off the tee. So we'll hit a 2-iron in case we get one of those 14s, 34s, or 54s. No wind, thankfully. Here's our roll, a 12. But Pete has an 8 on his card in the W column. I specifically chose Pete because of that. I went through the all-time greats, and about, I don't know, it seems to me 15, 20% of them have a single-digit number there for a 12. And he was one of the reasons, that was one of the reasons I picked his card. All right, so this is going to go 195, right 5. So it doesn't go very far, but then we get 20 roll, but that's all fairway roll. So we're good. 215, right 5. So we end up at 215, right 5. It's going to be right there. All right, we're not out of the woods because we still got to get 220 yards here. So, but now we're going to use a 5-wood. Let's see what happens here. 26. That's a 7, which is his average W, and this pin's on the right. So we're going to go ahead and reduce this. So this goes 430 left 5. And it gets 10 roll regardless. So 430 left 5, 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, and then 10 roll is going to be right there. So we're going to be a diagonal and a straight away. All right. Okay, so we avoided all that stuff. And now we'll play it safe here for the putt. 32 is a 20, 2 feet. Second putt, 52 again, 21. That's in. And we parred that hole. All right. Played that conservatively, and it paid off. You can see what I mean by APBA Resort has holes with every conceivable type of terrain. 13. And this hole's got some rocks that just stick out in the middle of nowhere. All right, no wind again, thankfully. Let's come over here and take a look. These are the rocks, and when you hit these, it's almost like the tree bounce tool, but APBA has its own suggestion for how to play balls that bounce off these rocks. Okay, and you can roll into the rocks and then you just kind of stop in the grid line before them. But if you land on them, you ricochet off the rock, and you could use the tree bounce tool if you want. But apparently these rocks are harder than trees because you get a much bigger bounce potentially when you hit these things on the fly, which we don't want to do. These are cliffs again. Nothing good happens if you're in the cliffs, or the trees, I believe, are probably treated the same way as the cliffs, at least on this side of the fairway. But I don't remember that exactly. We've got this gentle dog leg at about 285. All right, so yeah, see special features for shots landing on rocks. I've talked about that. Deduct 10 yards from carry on all WI shots, so that would include the tee shots. Let's put that in there. And the tee shots landing right of the center line, including those in the deep rough, bounce 5 yards left before taking any roll. Okay, well, that actually helps you, right? And then shots landing or rolling onto or landing in cliff or trees left of the fairway are treated as in a lateral hazard, right? Okay, so you don't want to be too far left of the fairway, and this is pretty close to the center line, this business over here. Man, is this another hole in which to use a 2-iron, which would put the ball probably around here somewhere, which could still run into trouble here. And because we lose yardage on this tee shot too, I think it was 10 yards. Do I want to risk a driver? I think I'm going to risk a driver and maybe go 15 right, 10 right, or a 4. I think I've got a 3 wood in my bag. Let's go 3 wood, 10 right, maybe. 3 wood. It's going to go 225. 225 is not a good distance. Wow. All right, let's go driver 10 right. Let's put it in the right box here. Let's see what happens. 36. Amazingly, he has an 8 on a 36. So we're going to go, we may hit a rock here. Let's just see what happens here. So 235, 20 right. Tee shots landing right of center line, including those in deep rough, bounce 5 yards left before taking any roll. Okay. So we know we're going to go left no matter what. So 235, right 20. Let's put a 5 left in there. And then we've got 25 roll. 235, right 15. All right, so it hit here. It's going to roll up to here. All right, and then we're going to get 25 roll. It bounces to here, 10, 25. So we're going to be in intermediate rough there at 260. 260, right 15. Yep. And intermediate rough, and hopefully we won't get any funny business with that. All right, nothing so far. 190 is our carry objective. We have a good angle here. Do not want to be near those cliffs. Oh, I forgot to put the marker down. The marker goes right there. Four iron. Yeah, I'd rather hit a 5 iron than a 4 iron, even though I'm likely to come up short. That's fine. I'll just hit And I'm not going to be anywhere near the pin, so I'm not going to bother to aim. I have a good angle. No, I'm not going to take it. Oh, I have to deduct 10 more yards. I forgot. That's going to change my mind. 200 yards. Yeah. So now I'm going to hit a 4-iron. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just hit a 4-iron here. 15 again is a 6. That's going to go right. I'm not going to be near the pin, but it goes 430, right 5. That'll be on the green, and I'll get 10 roll. So 430, right 5, 10 roll. So I'll be a diagonal and a straight. All right, 26 feet. And we'll play safe. 12, the 22. 15 again, 11. Lots of 15s. In. All right, save par on that. Some of these holes are a little bit nerve-wracking, right? I mean, lots of bad things could happen. So far, so good with that. All right, let's do hole 14. We got some water on this hole. And we've got 2 center lines here, reminding me of, what is that? Is that bluegrass that has the 2 center lines? The hole with 2 center lines? I think so. No wind. All right. Normal dog leg left at 345. Okay, well, that's going to be out of our range. Tee shots landing in fairway or rough. Roll 5 yards left for each 10 yards of forward roll. Okay. So you want to hit right to compensate for that. And then if not using master game aiming or work the ball rules, may use red center line for tee shot. Okay. So that's talking about this, but we are, so we just ignore that. So so what I want to do is, because we're going to get a little bit of roll, presumably, I want to kind of aim over here, and that way it'll roll in that direction. If I end up over here, I'm in deep rough. If I'm over here, I'm in water. That would be a disaster. I'm going to aim right. I may hit a 3-wood again just to cut down a little bit on the dispersion or possibility of dispersion. This is where the water is probably going to be a bigger factor on this second shot. All right, so 235. Wow, 235 is not enough club, really, for him. He barely gets to the fairway with that. So I'm going to hit a driver. And aim 15 to the right. I'm going to lose a little distance on this, but I am going to hit a driver. 42, okay. 42 is a 7. And I want to end up on the right side of the center line here, I think. Let's see. I'm going to get 25 roll. I'm going to reduce this. So 245, right 10. That puts it in the fairway. So let me show you where that is. So 245, right 10 is in the fairway. Happens to be on this second center line. And then we're going to get 25 fairway roll. So that means 5 yards left for each 10 yards of forward roll. So that means 10 yards left. Because it would have to be at 30 to get 15 left. We'll put the 25 in there. So that's going to put us at 270 on the center line. And that is in the fairway. So it rolls to that spot right there. Okay, well done. All right, now I can aim left because I have a good angle, but 225 that would probably put me in the bunker, and I don't want to mess with the water. So I'm not going to aim. I'm just going to hit a 5-wood. Hopefully not go too far left. 31. That's going to go right. That's a 6. So this goes 490, right 10 with 10 roll. 490 is right there, right 10, 10 roll. So I'm just barely going to roll onto the green. I'm going to be a diagonal and 2 straights away. All right. So 46 feet. Play safe. 16 is a 25. That's 4 feet. 65 is a 17. That's in. All right, so another par. I'll take it. Let's move on to hole 15. Another hole with some water, but hopefully this water won't come into play. Hole 15. All right, add 10 and no wind again. This is really kind of unusual to have moderate conditions with such little wind. 10 to carry to all tee shots. All right, so that changes the carry objective to 200. And we've got this little swale here. So these are 2 dotted red lines that are here. And this area between them is a swale. Think of it as like a ditch almost that you can either be in or have to putt through, depending on where your ball ends up on the green. Here's our pin location there on the north side of this swale. Okay, so balls landing or rolling into the area between the red dotted lines on the green, reduce remaining roll by half, rounding down. All first putts from the swale or from one side of it to the other read result 2 lines below actual PRN and then ignore results for 32 to 36. All right, so we want to be at least at 195 where we end up if we can. And that's going to cut our roll in half. 200, that would unfortunately probably maybe roll us pretty far away. But I'm going to hit a 2-iron. This may be too much club. We'll see. But that's what I'm going to do. 44. Yeah, probably too much club. So that's going to be a 6. So this is going to go 215, right 5. So I land 5 past, and then I get 15 roll. So I'm going to be 4 straights away. So it lands there, and then 15, 1, 2, 3. It ends up here. I don't have to go through that swale, but 1, 2, 3, 4 straights away. That's okay. There's just certain pin locations you're not going to get close to, no matter what. All right. So play it safe for the first putt. There's a 42. That's a 23. 4 feet. Second putt, 22. That'll be in with a 6. All right, another par on a par 3. All right, let's keep going. Hole 16. No wind. Whew. Must be living right. Gentle dogleg left at 290. Okay, but should not be a factor for Peete at all. Shots landing or rolling onto cliffs, bounce 15 yards left and stop, and then treat them as if they're in a lateral hazard. I don't even know why you need to bounce other than maybe in terms of figuring out where you crossed the hazard. And then see special features for shots landing in bushes. Let me tell you, you do not want to be in bushes. Bushes are just bad news. If you're in the bushes, a shot that lands in the bush stops immediately, and then you've got a 1 in 6 chance that you get an unplayable lie. So you would then, with an unplayable lie, you'd take your drop, within 1 grid line there, no closer to the hole, with 1 stroke penalty. But then if you roll anything else, a 2 through a 6, it's a lost ball. So not only do you get the stroke penalty, but then you have to re-hit from the original spot location that's there. So we do not want to be in bushes. And there are some bushes up around the green and some way right on the fairway of the fairway. But you've actually got to go through some bunkers to get to those. Well, not literally, but when you see the course, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so let's actually take a look at the course. Okay, so here it is. These are the cliffs again that you bounce off of. These are the bushes I was talking about. There's no waste area over here, so these must be considered normal bunkers here. Okay, that matches the color that's there. I think I was wrong about that waste area on the first time we encountered this. I think that was just one gigantic normal bunker. These are the bushes here. These are not trees. These are bushes, as you can see from the color here. All righty, let's look at the Game Caddie. So it's going to be perhaps the second shot that's the most troublesome here. I'm going to aim to the right a little bit just to avoid cliffs. Yes, I will be short-sighted if I'm over here, but I don't want to hit these cliffs. And with a drive that goes 50 left, I'm in the cliffs, perhaps. And he's such a short hitter. He can catch this right here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit like a 3-wood, aim 10 right, and then I just hope I don't end up in the bushes over here. All right, so 10 right. And 10 right, it keeps me from losing any distance. 53, well, it's going to be a short shot. It's not going to go wide. So I get a 10 on this. So this is going to go 220, 15 right, a really short shot, but that's fairway with 20 roll. So we're going to end up at 240 right, 15 in the fairway. Right there. Okay. Now the second shot is, again, we're short-sighted, and I'm certainly not going to work the ball. But this is what we want to avoid up here. Maybe you want to even hit it a little bit short to not have to deal, well, less chance of dealing with all that over there. Okay, so 210, 4-iron would be short. It's probably only going to go about 190. Might not even make the green. 200. Yeah. Working the ball to the right is a B. I think I'm going to hit a 4-iron. 52. It's a terrible number. 27. Let's see what happens here. Please go right. It goes left 15. 410, left 15. And we may get too much roll here. Let's see what happens. 410, left 15. 20 roll. I think I'm okay. 10, 20. Oh, man. And if I'd had a longer club, that's intermediate rough there. If I'd had a longer club, I'd have been up in this business here. I mean, perhaps. So 430, left 15. Yep, that's what that is. Yeah, so I'm just in the intermediate rough, which is going to play like fairway. And we'll have a good angle for our next shot. All right, so I don't want to target a location that's so close to the edge of the pin here. I think I'm gonna hit from the south. So I'll change the path because I think the path is probably going to be from the west. And this spot or this spot, I think I'm going to target this location right here from the south. And that way, if I get a 0 right or left 5, I can put it right on the pin. All right, yeah, hitting from west. So let's click the path button, change it to south. And then I'm going to change that to a 5. And that would be a call distance of 25. 34, not a good roll, but it's a 7. So it goes 450, right 5. I should be a diagonal away. 450, right 5 should be right there. One diagonal. All right, we'll take that. Okay, 13 feet away to save par. 43, that's probably not going to do it. Nope, 26. We're going to bogey this hole, I think. 32 is a 20. In. All right, we bogeyed, gave a stroke back. Just 1 under at this point, but man, that could have been a lot worse. All right, let's move on to hole 17. All right, there shouldn't be any out of bounds to come into play on this one, or likely penalty strokes. We do get 5 carry here, and we have a bounce back, which I'll take because I'm starting to collect these things like savings bonds here. But unfortunately, he has an average W of 7. All right, so let's see what we've got here. We got all kinds of lines on this particular hole. So let me show you the hole here. Here's our pin location. This is the water. We'll hit well past that, right? So purple lines, red lines, center lines that are black, bunkers here. But he has a 7 for his average W. So I may lay up here and then try to aim here on my second shot. Let's see what happens here. We run into trouble certainly at 270. Do not want to go beyond that. In fact, probably don't want to go to 265 if we're going to be 15 left. All right. Which we wouldn't need to be if we took a reduction. Shots landing or rolling in fairway on or left of red center line. Okay. Of red line, roll 5 yards left for each 10 yards of remaining roll. Okay, well, that's not good. Okay, right. So if we got like 10 roll here, it would go 5 roll that way. 20 roll would go 10 roll that way. He's already going to be over here. So I'm thinking we really don't want to go more than about 250. That's left of the red line. And then shots landing or rolling in fairway on right of the purple line. Well, we're not going to do that because we're going to take our average W. So 235. I forget how much roll you get with a 3-wood. I could check that. I don't think it's, well, I don't want to take the time to do it. I could easily check it, come over to the clubs tab. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to do a 3-wood. We'll put a 7 in here for his average W. We're going to reduce it by 5. That roll's going to be 20. Okay, so 240 left 5, and then we're going to get 20. So we're going to go 10 left. So that's going to be left 15 and 20 roll. It's going to be 260 left 15. So 260 left 15 is going to put me, I believe that's in the fairway. Yeah, it's in the fairway. It's not even on the line. Yeah, so let me show you what a little delay there. That's in the fairway. And we had to roll left because of this red line here. So it was 240 left 5, and then we got 20 roll, but we had to go basically in a diagonal and move to that spot there. All right. So that's fairway. Now we've got a good angle. So we'll aim 5 right. And these lines now no longer in play, but we've got the shots landing on fairway past 350-yard marker, roll an additional 10 yards. All right, so that's past the 350. So if it hits here, you're going to get 10 extra rolls. So you either got to factor that in or try to hit the green. 160. So let's do it. Oh, we got this extra carry too, but that's factored into that. So I'm going to hit a knockdown 6-iron, aim 5 right. All righty. 36. And that's a 7, remarkably, on his card, which isn't going to be great, but I think it'll put us on the green here. So 410 right on the center line with 5 green roll. All right, so that's 410, or yeah, 485, 495, 405, 410, 5 green roll, a diagonal, a straight away. "26 feet again. Come over here. Let's putt out. Play safe. Another 34, 29. Let's not 3-putt this. 53 is going to be a 16. All right. Okay. So we're 1 under coming into the last hole. Would love to break par. And let's see what APBA's got in store for us here for hole number 18. No wind. That's good. And let's see. Let's just take a look at the hole first. Okay. This looks like beach to me, but I guess plays as, again, it's one of these things where we got these things that look like normal bunkers, but we don't have anything called waste area on this one. Yeah, hopefully this won't come into play. We won't even have to deal with it. If it did happen, or if I were to have this happen in the future, this looks like normal sand. I would just play it as a normal bunker shot, although you might be blocked by trees. Okay, so we got deep rough here, and we got our pin way in the back here. This par 4. Let's see what the hole nuts have in store for us. So we're going to add 10 carry to tee shots. Tee shots landing at fairway at or beyond the 250-yard mark, which could happen, with roll an additional 20 yards. Well, we'd like to see that happen. And I used my last bounce back, so let me get rid of that. So I don't, not that I could even use it on this hole. I just forgot to mark it. Deduct 10 yards carry from all WI shots except the tee shot. All right, so I'm going to aim. I'm going to hit a driver. And aim left 5. $52 again, 27. Oh, don't blow the round on this last hole. 250, left 40. Oh boy. So I hit the trees. 30, 40. So I'm just going to do there's no special course rule for hitting trees on this hole. I'm just going to do the usual tree bounce that I use. Ball bounces 5 yards to the right. Okay, so that's 40. It's actually going to leave me in the regular rough. I hit here, bounce to there. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing here. So it's black lines on dark green. This is 30, 35, 40. Hits here, and using the tree bounce that I always do, it bounces 5 yards to the right. So it ends up in the regular rough, and we're not blocked by trees. So we got real lucky on that with our tree bounce. Game Caddie does that for us automatically. So we're at 250, left 35. We don't get any roll because of the trees. And we're just in the regular rough there on the edge of that tree square. All right, and then we're going to deduct 10 for the next shot. which means I got to wallop this ball to get it there. So I'm going to hit a 3-wood. Let's get a better shot. Another 52. Wow. Well, we know that number, 27. So it goes left again. 440, left 35. I could be back in the trees. So it hits here. So we're going to do another tree bounce. Man, that's disappointing. Ball bounces 5 yards to the left, so I may be stymied at this point. All right, so yeah, I'm stymied. I'm at that point. Wow, back-to-back 52s. Am I stymied? It could be under a tree. No, that's stymied. It's really, from my eyes, it's really difficult to see this. I think there's a grid line there. All right, but I'm stymied. Now, do I want to play safe back to the center line? Let me think about this. I'm here, I'm stymied. Could get a good shot that ends up here. Could play back here. If I do that, almost certainly will not get a par. But I could break even with a bogey. All right. Chances I'm short-sighted. Can't aim when you're sighted. I mean, I'm short-sighted. Best case scenario, I shoot for here. Pete's not a great putter. I mean, he's not terrible, but. All right, let's go for it. What the heck? So I've got it listed as tree stymied. I'm going to put this at 465. And I'm assuming I'm even going to get a chance to do this. Let's see. Yep, I can play aggressive, so I will. And call distance is 45. Oh, shoot, I wanted to hit from the south. I just leave it the way it is, 45. 15, again, how fitting, a 5. So -5, right or left 5, and I'm hitting from the west. So -5 puts it here, and then right or left 5, because I'm hitting from the west. I can put it right on the pin. Wow. How about that? Right on the pin. And let's chip it in. 7 feet to save par. Holy cow. All right. No guts, no glory. 7 feet. Let's make this. Come on, baby. What's it take? It takes for a par a 21 or less. 41 is a 19. It's in. All right. So 1 over on the back 9, but 1 under for the round. And I am thrilled with that. First time playing on this course. Granted, I had one of the all-time greats, Calvin Peete. Give him all the credit. I actually enjoyed this course more than I expected to. I thought I, would get bogged down with all these course notes, and it would just be one headache after another, and it would take forever to play this round. And it didn't exactly turn out that way. Granted, I played pretty conservatively, had a great player to work with, had 79% fairways. I'm going to turn that little yellow thing off. It might be a little bit easier to see here. 79% fairways, 61% greens in regulation. I wasn't in any conventional bunkers. I don't think I was even in any waste areas. So longest drive was 330 yards. I didn't pick the 2 holes for the driving distance. I could, after I'm off the air, go back and do that and add that to my database. You can do it before or after a round. You can do it in the middle of a round, doesn't matter. And then longest putt made was only 10 feet, and total length putts was only 77 feet, which is, probably average, maybe a little less than average for the pros, less than average for all-time greats for sure. And then average driving distance for all of the non-par 3 holes was 267 yards, which sounds about right since Pete's W7 rating that's there. All right. So that's what this course looks like. I hope that people will buy this course, play this course. I hope I can get somebody to proof this course at some point. All the pin locations seem to work right for pin location 4 today. But you never know until you actually play the course. Sometimes that a mistake has been made. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a like on it, or put a comment in there. That influences other people, other APBA players to some extent. Until next time, grip it and rip it.